Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Well, hello there. I'm walking on the beach and I thought, well, what's the Be Happy Now show all about? Being happy now. So this is me showing up for you while I'm feeling quite happy. Instead of waiting until I have the camera turned on to record my thoughts for you today. So thanks for playing with the flow of life with me. I really appreciate you. And in today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about the dance between productivity, rest, just the theme about even showing up for yourself, committing to an intention, to a focus. In other words, sometimes, I don't know if you relate to this word, the word balance. Balance is actually the first pillar, the first part of 3 in the tune-in method. And it was just recently that I've started to see balance in a whole other way. It's funny how things evolve. How we can see something one way and then, well, all of a sudden it's like we're wearing new glasses or we have a new perspective. You may be hearing a dog's collar in the background. That's Opal. Opal is one of the Briard dogs that Pierre Michel and I are pet sitting, and she loves to come on the beach with me. Okay, so this podcast is actually going to be a bit vulnerable because I'm going to share what's been going on for me, and hopefully it can be relatable to you. And I'll start by saying that I shared this with one of my friends recently, and she said she wasn't relating to that. That is exhaustion, the feelings of burnout, of overworking, overwhelm, overthinking. Do you relate to that? And if you don't, it's totally cool. It's just so familiar to me that it's difficult to understand not relating to it. So I laughed when I saw her response, and I thought, okay, let's go play in that field of relating to what I just said. When I started my business in 2019, one of the things that I was teaching the most and what my clients were learning the most was making self-care a lifestyle. Because I learned that through working in the media and then in events and not really knowing what life was, what self-care was in my life. You may have heard me say this before, but one of my best friends had given me a book called The Art of Doing Nothing. And I remember being like, what? I will never do nothing. And here I am a few years later. So 5 years later, exploring not necessarily what self-care is, but what the balance between productivity and doing and rest is. Because you must have heard me speak about the dance between doing and being before, right? The dance between the ego and the soul. And I really think that's one of my life's calling. So thanks for being on this journey with me. So what is rest? What is rest to you? Is definitely something that I'm also tuning into. And some of the explorations I'm getting is that, we're talking beyond the massage, beyond the, hair salon, beyond those things that are seen as a luxury of self-care, of time. I'm talking like rest as a way of being, flow, slow presence, acknowledgement of what is, not negotiating with the reality in front of us, not trying to turn the rain into a problem in our lives and actually embracing or just accepting that it's raining if it's raining, instead of debating the reality in this example is the rain. It relieves a lot of pressure to not negotiate with the truth, with the reality, with what is. And when we're not in rest mode, we're in battlegrounds. When we're not in rest, when we're not present to our energy level, when we're not in internal balance of being and doing, well, not only is there an imbalance, but there's an inner battle. There's like this rush, this pressure, this expectation, this obligation. And to be clear, what I mean is that the obligation is something that has us believe that the way that we're doing something or we're showing up, the way we said something, the way that we're even thinking about something is not good enough, and therefore there's an obligation to show up a certain way. Like there's this parameter that is only created by ourselves. Ultimately, it may be a cultural, societal culture, a culture of doing, of pushing, of performing, of reaching for the next level of better and better and better, that in turn creates this internal pressure, which then raises our bar to do better and better and better, and hence becomes an obligation, like an internal goal setting that is never turned off. So it's the feeling that I experience it as is like this feeling of being on edge all the time internally. Some of my clients have described this as like waiting for the shoe to drop. And that is like the internal battle. And that's like the opposite of acceptance. So ultimately, what it comes to this conversation is a little bit what's in my thoughts, and hopefully opening something up within you to kind of give you a ticket to rest, a permission for balance internally. And maybe it supports you to change the lens in your glasses so that you can see balance differently. We talk about work-life balance sometimes, or you may have heard this term. And honestly, I don't want to give you a definition or tell you this is exactly what it is, because I'm figuring it out as well. And I believe that by making self-care a lifestyle, that we end up figuring that out for ourselves without pushing, without holding tight the expectation that we need to figure it out, otherwise we're doomed. Am I making sense? Is this landing for you? And if it's not, okay. Over the next few weeks, I'll be traveling. I'm going to go see my sister and my family and friends in the US and Canada. I haven't been there in over 14 months now, since moving to New Zealand. And I'm going to be putting rest first. And I thought it was important for me to share that with you, because not only do I want to, be in integrity, and I want you to know that what's going on behind the scenes, I think I'm also wanting to walk the talk, and I've been doing that for years as I'm learning alongside you. I'm human too. I don't have it all figured out. So in the nature of putting rest first, my beautiful team members, Tuesday, Lisa, Jeannie, Jenny, they're all working beautifully together in co-creating the next Be Happy Now show episodes for you. So what they're doing is they're picking the best of episodes. They're gathering the content and the most valuable resources that I have, and they're making them available for you. And I think this is a great modeling of how we don't constantly have to recreate ourselves. We don't constantly have to find a new, better way to do things. We can actually go back and see, wait, what worked? What was valuable? How can we still put that or use that for our benefit instead of only using it once, you know? And I'm talking like heaps of resources and beautiful things that have been shared in the Soul Connected Circle as daily pocket soul coaching messages, and even in the Be Happy Now show, because as you know, we're beyond, I think we're over 135 episodes by now. And we've been delivering episodes to you every week, which I have to say is one of my best parts of my business. I love coming here and talking to you. So thank you so much for being on the opposite end here of this microphone and being the ear that I get to speak into. Thank you for being there. There are so many episodes, and I'm pretty sure it might be okay if you haven't caught all of them, right? So P.S. also, I myself find that when I hear something a second time, multiple weeks or days or hours later, I hear something new. I hear something different. My perspective has shifted. The wind changed. The direction is different. So you might hear something different. It might actually really be beneficial to you to hear something again, but hearing it from just a different eardrum or a different vibration. So feel free to communicate with us. You know, you can reach out to me in Messenger or on Instagram, in both of these messengers. And even though I will be putting rest first, I will be checking into these mailboxes, and my team members will as well. So if I'm not the one responding to you this time around, they will say that it's them. And when it is me, it'll just be me, in the sense that you can write to these messenger inboxes, and me or one of the amazing women on my team will reply to you. And as soon as I am in work mode, then I will respond to you. So thank you. I feel like I was speaking a little bit all over the place, but in honor of putting rest first, I will put this phone down and feel my feet on the sand while I walk with Opal. The sun is almost setting, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm grateful for you. So I'd love to leave you with 3 questions to ask yourself. You can pick one of these that you prefer, that you most resonate with. Whenever you feel like you're wanting to be productive and maybe a part of you is putting rest second, maybe you're falling into this culture of productivity, of doing, of performing, of maybe pushing your limits and not respecting your boundaries. One of the questions I have to offer you is, can this wait? Can this wait? And you might be surprised as to what actually comes out of this response, because if you're realizing that you can't wait to bring the recycling out, what's that about? What's that really about? So the first question I have for you is, can this wait? The next question is, does this uplift me or drain me? Does this uplift me or drain me? And of course, this is in relation to making a decision, right? When you're faced with a point of decision and you're like, oh, do I go this way or do I go that way? Well, can I choose what uplifts me? Therefore, does this uplift or drain me? And then the third question I have for you is, what does my soul need right now? What does my soul need right now? And P.S., you can't really respond to this intellectually. What your soul needs doesn't come from your intellect. It doesn't come from what makes sense. doesn't come from the logic. So unless you're driving, close your eyes and ask your heart. Feel into your body. Let your intuition speak and trust that you do know. So the 3 questions I have for you: can this wait? Does this uplift or drain me? And what does my soul need right now? Okay, thank you so much again for being here. I'm so grateful for you. Hope you enjoyed the waves. Okay, bye, my friend.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.